Yo, I just seen a story about them girls in Colombia who almost got kidnapped, them 3 girls, and I want justice.
The way they treat Spanish tourists and white tourists is not the same way how they treat black people. It's not. Like, they don't bother them as much. They don't target them as much. They don't be in their face as much. Bro, we were sitting on a party bus, and they were trying to offer us to smoke weed. I haven't seen not one person smoke a weed in this fucking country. Not one person. I haven't seen a vape. I haven't seen a cigarette. I haven't seen nobody smoking since I got here. And you trying to sell us weed? It's giving you want to lace us. Like, all of this shit is just weird, bro.
We boycotting Colombia for right now. Until I want that man hung in front of a live fucking audience. For real. Y'all fuck up their tourist money. Since y'all want to kidnap our people when we go over there, fuck up their tourist money. Don't nobody need to go to Colombia until they fucking find that man, and I want justice. The fuck? That shit is crazy. I was gonna go over there and get my teeth done this year.
Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. In case you're new here, my name is Maren and I'm Maureen. Right, so guys, today we are going to be talking about 3 black American ladies who almost got kidnapped in Cartagena, Colombia. And I feel like today's episode has a lot of lessons to be learned. Right, so we're also going to be listening to a few black American women. Some have also experienced the same in Cartagena, Colombia, while most of them just expounds on this situation. But most importantly, the ones who have gone there and they've experienced the same thing as our first speakers are going to be telling us why black people are really treated bad in Cartagena, Colombia compared to white tourists or Spanish tourists. Right. And what I got from this episode, to be precise, is places like Cartagena, Colombia sometimes might not be 100% welcoming to black tourists. Right. So I feel like this episode is going to be creating awareness as well, just telling you what you need to know. But I also feel like every experience is unique to every individual. If you've had different experience in Colombia, if you've ever visited that place specifically, let us know in the comment section so that we can all learn from that. Consider subscribing if it's your first time here. Also, remember to leave us a comment on what you think about this episode on the comment section. Right, let's watch.
The fact that I'm laying right here right now in my bed is so surreal to me. You know why? Because I survived a kidnap attempt with my friends in Cartagena, Colombia. Excuse my lashes, y'all. I keep crying. Like, this is something that is so traumatizing to me. And I just decided to share my story because I know so many people who travel and you never would think that it would be you. This is going to be a simplified version. I already told the full story on my Instagram, but I just wanted to share it on TikTok as well. So this should just be a shorter version. So me and my friends met up with a mutual friend that just so happened to be in Colombia. We decided to do a party bus tour. Once the party bus was over, they did leave with their private driver because they had a meal to go eat with their private chef. And we was just like, okay, well, we're going to go grab some food because the food at our resort was nasty. So we ended up going to Casa Palenque. Now, this is not like a random area. Tourists go here all the time. When I tell y'all, it's kind of like, I want to say like a Bourbon Street. I don't know if y'all ever been to New Orleans, but it's basically like a strip. Like, it's a lot of people out there. There's vendors. Like, it was a public place. So we ate. I had me a little hookah. My phone did get stolen, so I'm going to include as much pictures as I can, but I really don't have anything to show y'all. So once it was time to go, there's taxis, like, all over the place, like, you know, to take you home. If you go to Cartagena, Colombia, do not trust the yellow taxis whatsoever. The first taxi we went to was trying to charge us $50, and we was like, no, we don't want the $50. After that, we went with the second taxi, and it's crazy because he charged us $50 too, but we was just like, at that point, it was like, okay, honestly, if we keep trying, they're all going to charge us $50. We just wanted to get home. Our hotel was about 30 minutes from where we were at in the city, so we was just like, okay, forget it. We're going to go ahead and take it. So we told him where we were going, and he said, okay. He never put in his GPS. We just took that as this is his city. I know my way around my city without a GPS, so that's why we didn't think anything of it.
Those women almost getting kidnapped in Cartagena, Colombia is a perfect example of why you don't accept last minute invites to trips. Why you don't travel with people you don't know and you don't trust. If you're not as tight as Kaylee Levitt's lips, you don't need to be going nowhere with nobody. Because the way that those women handled that situation, the way that they grouped up and made a plan within 15 minutes under extreme stress, those the only type of motherfuckers I need to travel with. If you don't know what I'm talking about, this creator and a group of her friends went to Catalina, Colombia. Once arrived at the airport, they had to find transportation to their resort. They were told Uber was illegal, so they had to pick a taxi. Went down the line, realized that $50 was the going rate, so they just picked one. Once everybody was in the taxi, the passengers put the address of where they were going in their GPS, but the driver did not. She thought that was odd, but she also said this is his city, so I'm just going to give him the benefit of the doubt. 5 minutes away from where they were supposed to be going, he veers off course, and this is when all hell broke loose. He grabs the passenger's phone, and then he grabs the two girls in the back's phone. This is when this creator decides to start throwing hands, and this is when everyone else starts throwing hands. Now here's a picture of her friend's nails. You see that she got them down to the white meat. That's how hard she was fighting for her life. Reasonably so. So the taxi driver eventually gets out of the car and he drags one of the girls out. This is when the creator says, like, no, either we're all going to stay in this car or we're all going to get out of this car. Making these decisions, again, within a maybe 10 to 15 minute time, they decide to all stay in the car. The taxi driver gets back in the car, and at this time, a motorcyclist is circling. They finally figure out it's a security guard. But before the security guard even arrives, he's literally fighting these women. He's beating their asses, breaking their nails, snatching off their wigs, dragging them out of the car. Now, at this point, the security guard does have them, and I'm assuming the guy got away because they're able to track one of the friend's phones in his car. On the transport to the police station, the friend said, you're sitting back here with us. You're not sitting up there. Either you're going to sit with us or we're going to walk. The police officer said, fine, I'll sit back here with y'all. And they were using Google Translate in order to communicate with one another. At this point, if I can't have a full conversation with you in a little bit, I don't need to be in your territory. They get to the police station. The officer's like, let me show you some people so that you can identify. Out of 3 people, he only shows them one. And then he's like, well, let's go and identify the other one. She was like, fuck no. They get back to the hotel, they book their flights, and they head back home. As they should. Them women left tight and they came back even tighter. I guarantee you. That's a very unique situation to be in. And do you know how many people travel on trips and don't even know the person that they sleeping next to will do the same for them? Stop that.
The 3 girls who survived the attempted kidnapping in Colombia, I promise you, they literally only survived because they actually liked each other as friends. Go argue with your mom, not me. Let's just go through a couple of examples. Number 1, the girl sitting in the back had the GPS on the whole time, and when she saw, okay, the driver missed a couple of turns, this is getting a little bit suspicious, but she's also getting sleepy. She told the girl in the front over text, hey, can you put the GPS on your phone because he's missed a couple of turns and I'm getting really sleepy and I'm scared that I might fall asleep. Now, mind you, the girl literally said she wasn't feeling uncomfortable at first. She was scrolling on Instagram. But when her friend texted her that, she didn't argue with her. She didn't tell her friend she was overreacting. She stopped scrolling, inconvenienced herself, and put the GPS on her phone, literally because she actually liked her friend enough to do that so that her friend can have a peace of mind, which ultimately ended up saving their lives at the end of this. I've always said, if you don't love me like a sister, we don't need to be traveling internationally together, period. I say this because when the kidnapper lunged at the first girl in the back, right, your fight or flight kicks in. Imagine if that's your little sister in that car when a kidnapper grabs her. Are you running away and saving yourself, or are you staying to fight because you love your sister enough? The answer is you're staying to fight. The other 2 girls could have easily ran away, but no, they stayed, and they liked their friend enough to risk their lives to fight the kidnapper, so all 3 of them got away, not just 2 of them. Now, mind you, during the fight, the kidnapper ends up kicking the girl in the front with his steel toe boot right in the chest, okay? And at this point, the car is stopped. The girl could have been like, you know what? I'm just going to cut my losses and run at this point because the kidnapper is holding on to the girl in the back. But no, they don't do that. Every single time the kidnapper went for one of the girls, they all 3 stayed to fight. They didn't say, oh, you know what? He doesn't have me. I'm going to go run. No, they said, we're all in this together and we're all getting out of this together. This is why I say sisterhood is the standard when you're literally traveling outside of the country, because you're not going to risk your life and fight for someone you just consider a regular friend. But you will risk your life and stay to fight if it's someone that you consider a family member or a sister. And like even in their story time, they said that the kidnapper was trying to grab one of them by the legs and pull them out the car. But there was one friend pulling back and another friend like kicking so that, you know, he gets off of them. And it's like, you know, they really fought for each other to get out of there. Like that's real sisterhood. Like their nails were popped off. Like, you know, they really fought this man off and they were not going to let him have any of them. Like, be so for real. Some of your friends already show you their true colors when, let's say, you guys go out to a club, go out to a bar, and let's say one of the nights you had a little too much to drink, and they won't even take care of you then. And these are the same girls y'all go on international trips with and expect them in situations like this to pick fight instead of flight. Be for real. Those girls are true examples of when we go somewhere together, we coming back together. Not -1, all together. And that's what happens when you actually like your friend. Unpopular opinion, I hate to say it, but the girl who went missing in DR, her friends do need to be held accountable, because not only did y'all know this girl was throwing up and intoxicated, but you let her walk away with a random man she never met. You never made sure that she was okay the next morning, knowing that y'all took her wallet and her phone with you. On top of that, y'all went on an excursion the next day, not making sure if your friend made it home safe or not. That's crazy to me, and you need to be held accountable for that. I don't care how much my friend wants to stay. She will leave there kicking and screaming, because if I'm alert enough to know that I need to take her wallet and her phone, something that's valuable, then I am alert enough to know that I need to take the most valuable thing of all that can't be replaced. Her. The fact of the matter is, you need to care and love about your friends before you go on an international vacation with them.
I've been to a lot of countries, but as a black woman who loves to travel, I do not recommend coming to Colombia. And I'm here right now. This is my 3rd day here. I do not recommend coming out here for multiple reasons. And I've only been here for 3 days. And this is the beginning of my 3rd day. I feel like as a black woman here, you're extremely targeted. Targeted in terms of being scammed, in terms of being sex trafficked, in terms of being robbed, in terms of being kidnapped. Like, I wouldn't even come out here as a solo traveler. Like, I'm not coming back here for real. I had 3 friends that only been here for 24 hours and almost got kidnapped. They're on the next flight back home. And that's not my story to tell, so I'm gonna let her tell it to you when she gets herself together and, you know, she's fine. The yellow taxi cabs, they're not to be trusted. You can't take Ubers and Lyft out here because it's illegal. It's like, if you don't have a driver or somebody that knows the area, don't come out here. Like, I have a driver. By the grace of God, like, I found somebody before I came out here, and I trust him with my life, because he's been making sure I've been good since I got here. I have not walked into a store, into an excursion, without him coming inside with me or without him taking there. And every time it's time for me to be picked up, he's 15 minutes early. He do not play about us. This country is legitimately 80% men, probably 20% women. You see, when y'all be going to these little, like, DR, Jamaica, you guys can wear your little bathing suits with their cover. I didn't even feel comfortable enough to walk around with my bathing suit and a cover up out. I feel like I was literally a walking target. Like, I feel like people thought I was selling myself. And then on top of that, this country for sure do not try to adjust to Americans. They don't even try to learn English. Like, a lot of them really don't give a fuck to try to learn English at all. They're just gonna hit you with a Google Translate and put that phone in your face. My security downstairs and where I'm staying at, they don't know not a fucking lick of English. All they know is passport number for us to get in. And that's another thing. They require your fucking passport number for everything. They require your passport number to get into your hotel. They require your passport number to book some of the restaurants. They require your passport number to book your excursions. They ask for your first name, your last name, and your passport number for literally everything. And then I know they have, like, the people that be trying to sell things to you, like the little people that be in the streets that try to sell things to you. They're so, like, I understand, like, when I seen videos and people saying, like, oh, they're annoying, like, they don't know how to leave you alone. No, it's more than just annoyance. Like, they will shove these things in your face, and you can say no. And I'm from fucking New York. Like, I know how to say no to anybody. They're not gonna walk away from you, bro. They'll put it in your face like, here. Nothing out here is free. If they sing to you, that's not free. If they dance for you, that's not free. If you want to take a picture, that's not free. Don't touch nothing. Don't accept no free samples, because once you touch it, they're gonna tell you to pay for it. My first day here, 2 girls from North Carolina told me they got scammed out of $1,100. They try to charge their card $1,100 for 2 beach chairs, 2 margaritas, and, like, a lobster dinner. $1,100 US. 20 of them surrounded them on the beach, and they was like, oh no, we're gonna call policia. And they did not give a fuck. They was just like, okay, call the police in Spanish. They was like, okay, whatever. They ended up settling for giving them $400 US in cash. This is not a place where you can pull your money out, because they're gonna target you. If you buy from one vendor, they're gonna all swarm you until you try to buy from all of them. Don't make no eye contact with them, no nothing. The catcalling it does not stop. It does not stop. Like, this is the first place that I really feel like I want to wear all my long dresses. I don't want to wear nothing revealing, no nothing, because it's literally 80% men out here, 20% women. The sex trafficking ring out here is so freaking high. Like, I was supposed to go to the club tonight. I don't even think I want to go no more. The scenery is beautiful. Don't get me wrong. The food is beautiful. I have met so many beautiful people, but this is somewhere I will not recommend any black woman to go to unless you're going in a group that includes men. Like, unless you have many in a group. And if you're going in a group of girls, like my friends that almost got kidnapped yesterday, it was 3 of them, and they bigger than me. Like they're big, hefty, like they could pack a punch. It's 3 of them. I wouldn't even recommend like a girls trip here, like at all. Like there's so many other countries that you guys can go to that's so welcoming to like black women and Americans. This is not the country for that. This is a great guys trip. This is not the country for that. There's not even enough, like even as a guy, like there's not even women out here for y'all to even come out here. Like no, the way they treat Spanish tourists and white tourists is not the same way how they treat black people. It's not. Like they don't bother them as much. They don't target them as much. They don't be in their face as much. Bro, we were sitting on a party bus and they was trying to offer us to smoke weed. I haven't seen not one person smoke a weed in this fucking country. Not one person. I haven't seen a vape. I haven't seen a cigarette. I haven't seen nobody smoking since I got here. And you trying to sell us weed? It's giving you want to lace us. Like all of this shit is just weird, bro. Like I said, I traveled to a lot of different countries and y'all be seeing my TikToks. Colombia is not somewhere I'm going to come back again. So far, I'm having a great time in terms of that. But, like, my friend's situation just scared the fuck out of me, low-key. I'm just happy, like I said, I have a trusted driver who's been taking me around. Like, I haven't been booking no taxis, no Ubers, no nothing. And he stays with us. And every excursion that we really booked, most of it was, like, through Airbnb or through him. And I've done spoken to these people, so I know we'll be fine until it's time for us to go back home. But, no. Never again. Never.
Notice how all 3 of those girls that went on that Colombia trip mentioned God. They picked the real and the right friends to go on that trip for that to happen. So honestly, and I'm glad all 3 of them made it out so they could be able to tell their story and give everybody awareness, because I'm afraid if that was to be any other set of friends, one of them was not going to make it out, and it would have been a traumatic ass story coming up on TikTok that we would have been hearing. For real. That's why I just feel like I'm not on a point where I'm ready to go on a trip with anybody. I can't do no girls group trip. We gotta test out the lounges, go out on certain dates in our neighborhood, maybe on a road trip, not even a road trip, because I fear things like that. Like for real, I feel like nowadays you don't run into genuine friends who are gonna make sure y'all make it out alive. Like it's every man for himself, especially living in New York. I was probably the only friend that was making sure I'm putting my life on the line so everybody makes it home safe. I've been through multiple situations where it was times like that, and but you really gotta have friends that's on the same mindset as you, believe in God, and just got the same intentions, because those girls went out there, it's like God set in stone and let them know that was coming their way, honestly, and they was prepared for it. They wasn't prepared for it, but they honestly made it out alive. Like,
so guys, welcome back. Let us know what you think about that episode in the comment section. All credits goes to the creators in this video, and I feel like it's very important that the ladies talked about the experience, because in that way they've created awareness. Probably somebody was planning a trip there and they didn't know this kind of thing to consider. Right. Personally, here in Kenya, Africa, here in Kenya, Uber and Bolt, those are the apps we use for taxis, right? They're very much legal, and I didn't know in some countries Uber is illegal, right? So at least in that sense, you can come to Kenya and you still can find these services that you use in America. Most of them are in Kenya, right? And what I love about these videos is actually, the world is a very big place, and truly there are some places that are still not explored, right? So that being said, at least they have gone to that place, Cartagena, Colombia, and us here in Africa, we always watch these places in movies or in soap operas. So it wouldn't be far-fetched if someone develops interest to go to such places. But then what makes a huge difference is videos like this surfacing on the internet, giving people their experiences and warning for those who decide to go to such places, what precautions to take and how to, protect themselves when they find themselves in such situations. Right, and I have to say that cab driver who was carrying them, I feel like his actions really spoke a lot about the type of person he is as an individual. Exactly, and to be honest, that was a bad reflection in the country of Cartagena, Colombia. And I have to say that for you to treat women like that, especially foreigners, I feel like that you lack respect for women, because he was fighting you lack humanity. He was fighting with these women inside his cab, and this is someone they trusted to take them to a a place, offer them services, because it wasn't for free, they were going to pay for it, you know. So at the end of the day, why not make your money in a clean way? Take these people, they've trusted you, they're in your country, take care of them, let them reach safely where they're going. In fact, you're the one who's supposed to be looking out for them. But apparently this person has no codes, because what they say that sex trafficking is a real issue in Cartagena, and right now if the story ended differently, nobody could have ever heard from them again, and that would have been such a sad thing, you know.
Right.
And and on TikTok, I heard another lady say that it was just in comparison to also these three ladies, the type of friendship they had. If those two ladies, when the kidnapper was handling the first lady, if the other two ladies would have run away, that is, we'd be hearing a totally different story now of maybe the one girl who wanted to be kidnapped, the first one, she'd have either gone missing or she'd have been found dead by now, you know. And also another thing that many of our speakers today kept mentioning is when you take trips like this, make sure you're going with someone who has your back, because if you go with someone who doesn't have completely your back, it's when you find situations like this that tourists went to a specific country, let's say Dominican Republic, and only 2 came back, 1 ended up unalived. And you know, someone asked a very important question that I would also like to pose to you, our audience. If, let's say, even in your home countries where you're coming from, you go hang out with someone at a bar, you get extremely drunk, and your friend knows as much that you're extremely drunk, they take your phone and your wallet and they put you in a cab to go home. They don't make sure that you reach home safely, they just put you in a cab to go home. Is it not better for them to take you as a person home instead of taking your valuables? Are your valuables more valuable than you yourself, than your life also? Yeah, those are the kind of friends that you don't go on trips with, because one of you will end up unalived. Yeah, generally speaking, I feel like this is a question of who do you trust to travel with. Don't look for someone who brings you the most fun, right? Don't look for someone who brings out the life of the party, they are called, although they're good to have, but just go with someone who also has your back. Because I'll give a recent something recent that happened in Kenya now. This was a situation where a 21-year-old girl, I don't know if you saw the story.
Yeah, I did.
A 21-year-old girl here in Kenya went out partying with her friends, right? These are college students. Yeah, they went out to party with friends, and apparently they got drunk in this party. The friends called her an Uber, and it took her home. So when she reached home, they live near a highway. So when she reached home, apparently she never reached home. Yeah, she was hit by a hit and run vehicle as she was crossing the highway. So, and that was the last they heard of her. So a missing persons case was filed, only for this lady to be found in a mortuary, to be found unalived in a mortuary. And I'm like, these friends who called a cab for her, one of them, if they were sober, not sober, but if they were okay enough to call an Uber for her and type in her address, why didn't they make sure you get into the car, make sure you've gotten her home safely, you know? And these are the kind of friends we are saying. Are you sure you have someone who will want to make sure you enter your house, you enter the door, how you came out when you're going out with them, you know? Right. And coming back to this Cartagena case, there's also another lady here who was speaking, and it appears like this is the lady who they met with in Colombia, right? The one who invited them to Cartagena, Colombia. So this lady was saying during her time in Colombia, she had noticed that white travelers and Spanish travelers, they're really treated with respect, and not once did she ever see any, you know, anything being sold, you know, none of that thing that can influence your behavior. But when it came time to them walking around in Colombia, people kept coming up to them, offering them, you know, and offering them other illicit stuff. Yeah, so black Americans, black people in general, if you're melanated, just be careful. Be careful and know one thing. If it is really a must for you to go to places and like have Cartagena, a different kind of fun, you know. We just want to say, be very, very very careful because the world is very unfriendly to anybody who's melanated. So the number one person you have to look out for is yourself, especially if you're in new places, strange places. Look out for yourself, and especially also if you visit places where non-melanated people are, because I feel like hospitality in countries, also in regions, also varies depending on the culture of the place. Why am I saying this? Because in Kenya, yes, you might find criminals who want to do nefarious things like this, but Kenya has a big culture of hospitality. What do I mean by this? If you go to a club as a foreigner and you get wasted to that level, or you just want to find your place around, you don't even have to be wasted. You know, you'll always find 2 people, or should I say, instead of 2 people, let me just say out of 10, a ratio, 8 out of 10 people will want to help you. The 2% is the only one who will want to maybe rob you, but 8%, that's a lot of people who will be willing and ready to offer help, you know.
But in general, when in new places, don't
Be
even
cautious.
take that risk.
Yeah, be cautious. Google things, ask yourself,
Know the safe areas.
Exactly. And did I hear one of the ladies mention that guy turned off the Google whatever location or whatever?
No, she said he never even opened it to begin with.
That's
so she
a red flag.
Yes, so she assumed since he's from that place, that was his region.
Never ever assume things. Even here in Kenya, if someone wants to take you to a place, make sure if it's a cab
Uber
and
driver,
an Uber,
they
make
punch
sure
in
they
the
punch in the
location.
location so that it is known and it is on record, because highly unlikely here they never want to commit crimes if there's a record of it, you know. Just be
And also
very,
you
very
yourself
sure.
be on Google Maps as you go. You see your progress your progress on the Google Maps.
Right.
Yeah. So
guys, let us know what you think about this episode on the comment section. Also, we want to know from those who've gone to Cartagena and had a different experience. Let us know what happened. How was the experience like? You know,
are black travelers in general, are melanated travelers safe in that region?
Yeah, we'd like to know from you. Anyway, guys, we want to thank you so much for joining us. Let's catch you on the next episode as usual. If you're new to this channel, consider subscribing before you leave, right?
Right.